Hey everybody, welcome to Jacob's Quest, and today we got a brand new trailer for The Matrix Resurrections, a movie that I am personally very excited for, and we'll talk about some stuff afterwards. But yeah, it says trailer 2. It doesn't say final trailer, so I expect there to be another one. We'll find out. But yeah, let's go ahead and hit play.
We can't see it, but we're all trapped inside these strange repeating loops.
Okay, repeating loops.
Billions of people just living out their lives, oblivious.
Okay, so he's definitely Smith.
This is the moment for you to show us what is real.
Okay.
I remember this.
Yeah, he got plugged in.
So deja vu. And yet it's obviously all wrong. Maybe this isn't the story we think it is.
They taught you good. Made you believe their world was all you deserved. But some part of you knew that was a lie.
What the heck is
Some part of
happening?
you remembered what was real.
It's so easy to forget how much noise the Matrix pumps into your head. Something else makes the same kind of noise. War.
Okay, is that what's her name? Niobe, right? What the heck is happening?
Happens to Neo.
Yeah, they're really like emphasizing that that's supposed to be Smith
Most
now,
important choice in Neo's life.
or A. Smith. I
It's
don't
not
know.
his to make.
She believed in me. It's my turn to believe in her.
Part of me feels like I have been waiting my whole life for you.
If you want to see Trinity again, fight for her!
I saw this in a dream.
Huh.
My dream ended here.
Okay. I have so many questions. The way it's shot is amazing. Nice.
I still know Kung Fu.
Okay. So, ooh, all right. So first reactions. As I kind of theorized since the past trailers that we've gotten, it seems that both Neo and Trinity both have abilities this time. Okay, and of course the question is that, well, how is Trinity even alive? She wasn't plugged into the Matrix when she died, so it's kind of harder to kind of reason out how, you know, even some kind of consciousness of hers could be alive, because she wasn't plugged in, right? Neo at the very least was plugged in when he died, so you can kind of like, oh well, maybe they kind of copy saved his consciousness and something, you know, like so I'm almost thinking that what the idea here is that Trinity, the version of Trinity we're seeing here, is just a recreated program version of her, created from Neo's memories. So like, you know, they have Neo's consciousness in the Matrix, and they kind of just like took his memories of her and created a program version of her. But then again, they do show a body, like a human body of her, so I think there is some kind of cloning happening here. Let's go ahead and turn off the volume. But yeah, clearly they have some sort of connection. You know, I feel like their powers are linked, because we see both of them using powers. We see Neo, you know, blocking the bullets and using his telekinesis and all that stuff, and then we see her using some sort of let's see, they're gonna show it here, using some sort of, yeah, this, whatever's happening here. It's just very, very interesting. I you know, the plot is kind of fascinating. So they talk about being closed in loops, and we also see these scenes where yeah, he is, you know, Neo is here in the Matrix watching footage of the Matrix movies. You know what I mean? Like, this is footage from the Matrix 1, right? So it's like, in this world, were those movies just movies? Or, you know, it's because how the only way they could have this footage, maybe, is again if this was like taken from Neo's memories. You know, if they're like showing him like, look, this entire version of the Matrix you're stuck in right now, it's just your subconscious that the machines have created, like your own personal paradise. And so that's why there's a new Trinity and there's a version of the first Matrix movies, because like this is your memories, this is your point, you know, this is your point of view as you saw, because remember, like there were some point of view shots of Neo, and I don't know, that's like the best guess I had right now as to what the hell is happening here. There were some other things, some people pointed out that let's see if we can, it looked, at least for a moment, let's see if we can rewind. Yeah, okay. It looked as if these are machines fighting each other, which, very interesting. So we see some missiles going from this machine to the right, headed towards this machine down to the left, and they're shooting red missiles to them. So yeah, it looks like there is a machine civil war happening here, which makes sense, because, you know, the thing that like we all need to remember is that, like, yes, these are all computers and machines, but like every single machine, every single program, they all have their own AI. They're all artificially intelligent, you know, so yeah, it's possible for them to disagree and start fighting each other. That's how they're, you know, that's how rogue programs in the Matrix exist. So yeah, of course it makes sense that, like, yes, machines would just start taking sides. So that's the only explanation I can come up with, is that, you know, there are machines that insist on this peace with humans, and then there's other machines that are not so agreeable on that, you know. And again, here's more footage, and here it kind of goes against my idea here, because this is footage again from the Matrix 1, but obviously this is not Neo's point of view, unless maybe it's him looking in the mirror, but the mirror's on him. I don't know. So I don't know, maybe that's not what's happening. It's, you see a bunch of computers here. Some people have theorized that the version of the Matrix that he is stuck in is a version where he is an actor who played in the Matrix movies, and so they're, you know, the movies that we know are just movies in this version of the Matrix. I don't know how I would feel about that, because of course, you know, they're drawing clear parallels, which to me, you know, they're intentionally doing this, saying that, like, yeah, this is a new Smith, right? So what this says to me is that those movies that we saw, they did really happen, you know. So were they somehow just recreated as fictional movies in this new version of the Matrix? You know, and again, there's still some obvious questions, like, how is there a young Morpheus? Is he a program? Is he a clone? You know, I suspect there's all sorts of crazy stuff like this happening. I think Trinity is a clone. I think Morpheus is a clone. I think there is definitely something happening here with, like, taking memories from Neo. And see, look, he's still got his telekinesis. So they both seem to have abilities, and maybe there's like a thing where it's like, oh, you're each, you know, it's like maybe the code of the one, because remember, all the one is a remainder of a code. You know, it's literally the number, you know, it's a one, a remainder one, right? In a mathematical equation, it's a remainder that gets cycled through the program, and it kind of gets just assigned to like a new human, right? So, like, you know, sort of, if you ever watched The Last Airbender, it's kind of like that, where it's like, okay, next cycle, it's going to be this guy, you know, and they kind of get the Avatar spirit power, you know? It's, it's kind of like that, at least my understanding of it. So maybe what's happening here, maybe the code got split into two, you know, because they're using his subconscious in this version. So maybe Neo has only half of the one code and Trinity has the other half, and that's why they, you know, they have like this crazy connection when they touch hands, and they're trying to like, oh, okay, together we make the power of the one, you know, something like that. Because clearly he still has power, so it's not like you know, it's not like, oh, he doesn't have anything anymore. Look at this. Clearly he's still doing crazy stuff like that. So yeah, just as to what's happening, I just could not tell you. There's like, there are so many different possibilities as to what's going on. I can only surmise this: the versions of the movies we saw, they did still happen, and they are still the reality of the situation, you know what I mean? But at the same time, somehow they have footage of those movies that we in real life saw. So either they recreated those situations digitally from Neo's memory, or something like that, you know, or I don't know, maybe they're gonna go crazy and they're really gonna say like, no, those movies did not actually happen, and this is the real version of what happened, you know, which I don't know how to feel about that, because it's like, okay, well, clearly Neo and Trinity and all of this stuff ended up the way it is now, so at some level those events happened, right? I don't know, man. The possibility, and here's my thing about all this, and I see people online saying this, and you know, it's not necessarily that it's not true, but it's just, here's how I feel. Okay, so I've seen people online talk about how, well, The Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions were not great movies. In fact, some people hate those movies, right? Which I know they were definitely like, they were not this universally beloved first movie, right? I understand that like they kind of got really convoluted and they tried to do way too many things, and a lot of people just kind of fell off, you know. And I think even Revolutions, I think if you look at the box office, like it did drastically less than Reloaded did, something like that, you know. So a lot of people are saying, oh, don't bother getting excited for this new one because it's gonna be like, you know, it's gonna be all weird and convoluted and dumb and blah blah blah, you know. Here's my thing about all this. I am at this point in my nerd fandom with everything, you know, Marvel and Star Wars and even the DC stuff, you know, to an extent, where the quality of the individual movie does not matter to me personally nearly as much as, you know, the deeper layers of it, you know, like what does this mean for the lore of the grander universe and world building that they've done, you know. So even if this movie comes out and it's like, oh, okay, it's kind of disappointing, but they did try to do all this crazy stuff and they introduced all these new crazy ideas and they kind of rework how the Matrix works and how the real world and the digital world, and you know, they rewrote everything, and now you can go back and watch those other movies and they kind of, you know, you're seeing them through a different lens now because things are different now, you know. I'm at that point in my fandom where it's like, look, even if this movie comes out and it's mixed, right, it gets like a mixed reaction, I'm okay with that personally, you know, because I am already excited for like the deeper lore stuff. Like I'm the person who went back, watched the sequels to The Matrix over and over again because, like, you know, I'm looking for like the little lines of dialogue that like one character said for like a split second and it has so many implications, you know, like I'm that guy, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm excited for this movie. Hey, maybe it'll be this convoluted mess and it won't make any damn sense at all. That's okay, because I'm the person who's gonna watch it over and over and over again and like really deep dive into the lore and all the stuff, you know. I'm that kind of person. That's just how I am. I do it with Marvel, I do it with Star Wars, you know, like I'm always gonna like try to dive deep and see what means what, you know. So yeah, I'm really excited. I have so many theories. Now I'm gonna say this, because I know this conversation is happening and it's inevitable, and so this movie is coming out the weekend after Spider-Man No Way Home. And if you don't know yet, Spider-Man No Way Home has already, the pre-sale tickets have already gone insane, and people are projecting these insane opening weekend numbers. So for this Matrix movie, which a lot of people are excited for it, but there is a little bit of hesitation from, you know, because those two sequels did get mixed reactions. This Matrix movie is coming out the week after that one. You know, after the Spider-Man movie that everyone is going to spend their money to see once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, you know? And the problem with that, of course, is that generally it's harder to get people to go see a movie the next weekend after they just spent all that money at a movie theater, because movies are expensive. For a lot of people out there, they go see maybe 1 or 2 movies a year, you know, and Spider-Man is definitely going to be one of those movies. So to try and get people to see The Matrix literally the next weekend, because Spider-Man's going to dominate the next weekend after it comes out. Spider-Man's probably going to dominate the next 5, 6, 8 weekends, you know, because we're going into January and there's not much happening in January. Spider-Man's going to be the king for a while. So that's bad news for The Matrix. You know, I kind of wish that The Matrix had released earlier, to be honest with you. I wish that they had just released it like the first weekend of December. Then at least that way they get some time to exist before Spider-Man comes out. But no, the other thing, of course, is that this movie is coming out on HBO Max, which, you know, that's a whole conversation on its own. You know, when they did that big deal where it's like, all right, all Warner Brothers movies are going to be released day and date from both theaters and HBO Max, the streaming service. Obviously there was a pandemic happening, but it was this huge controversial move. The Matrix is still one of those movies. It's coming out on HBO Max, which I do have HBO Max, so I'll probably see it in theaters the first time, but the second, third, fourth time I watch it, probably gonna watch on HBO Max. I have the app. I you know what I mean? So yeah, that's definitely also going to hurt its box office. So I know this conversation is going to be like a big deal, like, oh my god, the Matrix box office was horrible, but it's like, yeah, what did you think was going to happen? It came out right after the biggest, most hyped up movie in the goddamn world, Spider-Man, and it came out on a streaming service the exact same day it came out in theaters. So yes, all of you websites and all of you headlines, the box office is going to be horrible. Of course it is. Look at what's happening. So that is, you know, I don't know, you know, if I was Warner Brothers, I would have been like, look, let The Matrix come out before Spider-Man, several weeks before Spider-Man, because once Spider-Man comes out, that's all anyone's going to be talking about. That's all anyone's going to go see. That's, you know, every family member that visits for Christmas, Spider-Man. Every conversation, Spider-Man. You know, every screening in the theater, Spider-Man. So yeah, I don't know, that, I guess that is my one thing, that I kind of feel bad for this movie. I'm excited for it and the possibilities of it, but also I already kind of feel bad because it's like, oh man, your box office, I don't know how expensive this movie was to make. I don't know, but ooh, yeah, that box office numbers are probably not going to look super great. You know, there's going to be all these comparisons to the first Matrix movie, and it's going to be like, oh man, it didn't get anywhere close to that first Matrix movie, and yeah, it probably won't. So yeah, that is like the one thing that's like, oh man, Warner Brothers, really? Right after Spider-Man, you're kind of just letting this movie, you're just going to let that happen in this movie, I guess. Okay. You know, but it's too late now. It's already, you know, unless they surprise everyone, it's like, no, it's released now. Anyways, yeah, so that is my one thing. I'm excited for this movie. I'm excited for a lot of this stuff. I have so many theories. Box office is not going to be that great, but can't really do anything about that at this point. Should have probably moved it back earlier, or moved it forward earlier. Anyways, Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you're excited for this. Let me know your theories that you might have about the Matrix Resurrections. Are they clones? Is there a machine civil war? What is happening in this movie? I'm fascinated. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.